my name is Brooke Sakalowski. Today's date is March 20th, 2026, and the time is 4:17. We are at the Pewaukee VFW. I am interviewing Tom Lemmer, who was born on February 6, 1951 in Milwaukee. He served in the Vietnam War between the years of 1969 to 1973. Tom Lemmer was an EM3 in the Navy and served as an electrician's mate. This interview is sponsored by the Bell Tower Memorial. First of all, I'd like to thank you for agreeing to this interview.
Thank you.
Of course, and let's get into it. All right, what were you doing before you entered the service?
Well, prior to, I attended Boys Technical High School, and I think I was very much into sports at school, football, wrestling, everything. Believe my experiences and time then, and not really having a good idea of what I wanted to do in the future, helped me make up my mind, in addition to my dad being a World War II veteran.
When you say like technical school, what's the difference between like that and a public school, or is that like the same thing?
It is a public school, only I was more trained to be a mechanic, which in the Navy it would be a engineman. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they misinterpreted it and made me EM instead of EN, but the two of them went together pretty well. So
that's good.
It's only been better for me.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. All right, so you said you followed your father's footsteps and enlisted in the Navy at 18. What age did your father enlist, and then why did your father decide to enlist?
I don't believe my father enlisted.
Oh, you don't think he enlisted?
So in World War II, you didn't have much choice. If you were able-bodied, you went. How he got the Navy, I don't know. He just picked it, and he was a laundryman in the Navy, so he took care of everybody's uniforms on board ship. On a destroyer, the USS English.
All right. So what was your your first impression or thing you remember upon arrival at training?
Kids with long hair and kids from New York with the Brooklyn accent, and they ain't gonna tell me what to do. And how once their hair came off, we were all alike.
So you were in, I don't believe you said you were in New York.
I was at Great Lakes.
Great Lakes, yeah.
But all the people in the company came from all over the United States, and even some from Philippines.
Wow. I did not realize that, which I should have. So tell me about your first early weeks and what those kind of looked like.
Well, I think I had mentioned that I was assigned with a Navy outfit, or an outfit in the Navy that played music and was the band in boot camp and that. And we had to try out for it, put you in. And of course, I wasn't the best of trumpet players, so me and one other guy usually got stuck cleaning the band room. And sometimes it doesn't seem bad, but when they're out marching, it was pretty nice to be able to sit down and take it easy.
Where did you first learn how to play trumpet, or what made you come to
Well, I started playing trumpet when I was in grade school.
Oh.
So
was there something special about that instrument, or
no,
just decided on
it? I really don't know why.
That's fair.
It was just something to do, I guess.
Yeah. So you said that you kind of helped clean stuff up while everyone else did their marching thing as they got were there any other benefits that you guys got, or were there any other negatives?
The benefits he and I got was when we were done, there was a bowling alley and some potato chips and stuff there, and in boot camp, you really never got a chance. They always had demerit, what would you call, papers in your pocket. Okay. And if somebody on the base caught you doing something wrong, they could come and take it, and then they turn it into your commander, and you would get kind of like a demerit.
What is that?
But when they come to us, we were doing what we were told. When you're done, you can do what you want. So we do what we wanted and go over there and have a couple of drinks, a soda,
nice.
Take it easy, but made it nice for both of us.
Yeah. I've never heard of a bowling alley during training. I've never heard of that.
It was just on the base, So probably more so for the advanced people, but
Advanced people.
it was a place to go to get soda and
Mhm.
chips or something. So.
Yeah, yeah. So you kind of mentioned like you guys got to like go, like you got to clean up and then you got to go to like the bowling alley and just kind of do stuff like that. So what were your other like sort of living conditions and like
Well, living
food?
conditions probably about 80 guys and double bunks.
Oh my goodness.
Memories of being in lines getting shots both sides with air guns.
Well,
So you were prepared. I mean,
that's fair.
malaria shots, etc. All the different. So you were prepared. And one shot that you got kind of in your backside that everybody got up the next morning, fell down on the floor when they got out of bed and everything because their leg was not. But some of those memories are can't take them away.
No, that's for sure. Are you still close with any of your buddies from training?
Well, I did have one guy that we did have in boot camp, and he was a relative of Ike Eisenhower.
Oh, wow.
So that made it kind of nice. And his cousin was Peggy Fleming, the ice skater.
Oh.
So he kept telling me, I'll set you up with Peggy for a date. Yeah, wow, that'd be nice. But so that, other than that, some of the guys I have talked to since, but
Yeah.
everybody kind of goes their own way when it's done. So
Yeah. So for basic training, do you guys like go just like the same group of you guys like stay as you go throughout the Navy, or do you kind of just branch off?
just one of them. You're all individuals once you get out of boot camp, and they send you to whatever ship or whatever. Well, usually going to school afterward. Like I went to EM school for electricians.
Yeah.
It's called Basic Electronics and Electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And that was about 12 weeks or more. And then you get your next assignment, which would be whatever you can ask for certain things, but they're going to send you where they want you.
Yeah. So was this like electrician school? Was that like separate and like in addition to basic, or were you there while everyone else was at basic?
Well, that would be after your basic training, you went to A school.
A school, so some sort of school.
Okay. And the rest of the military came AIT or something like that, which a little bit different than the Navy.
Okay. So did you kind of experience a culture shock when shifting kind of like from a civilian life to like you're the military?
Well, to an extent, somewhat, but not a lot. I mean, it's pretty well structured, which I guess I grew up. My family was pretty well structured as far as getting up and getting things done before you went to school and what have you. And Navy was much the same. Everybody got up at the same time, and you were out ready to march or whatever at a specific time. You had to be there through your exercises and say firefighting school, and I had to know how to swim. Navy, of course.
Yeah.
So, and how to repair ships if you had a problem leaking or what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Brought that up that they had what they called the USS Buttercup at Great Lakes that put so many guys in at one time, and then they would open up and you had to repair the holes in that. And if you didn't do it right, you sunk.
You sunk. No pressure.
So they had the groups, and whatever group was on there, and you didn't want to sink because then they made it rougher on you.
Yeah. So I get like the being able to swim. What just like with the firefighter school? I've never heard of that.
Well, the firefighting schools mainly, which I don't think they do anymore, but we had to do it with foam and different tools used for which compartment it's in, etc. So you knew what, whether you were with flammables or whether it was just a berthing compartment or, if it was in the kitchen or type of fires.
Oh, yeah. All right. So when you were serving in the Vietnam War, you served as like an electrician's mate on the USS Firm and aboard the USS Cayuga as part of a type conflict. What was that like?
Okay, the USS Firm and the Cayuga were after I had departed Vietnam. When I was in Vietnam, I was on a base called Na Bay, which was a river patrol boat base, and I was there mostly to try and train the South Vietnamese electrical systems on the small boats and protect our assets, so to speak. So after I had left Vietnam itself, then I was assigned to USS Firm, which was a minesweeper. And then with the mining of Haiphong Harbor, we were in Long Beach, and everybody left to go and sweep the mines out of Haiphong Harbor, and the USS Firm was sold to the Philippine Navy, so I was in a barracks instead, which we wondered why, but it was something else. After that, I did get orders for the USS Midway. I turned down the orders for the USS Midway because I didn't want to be on a large ship where it's more like a city, like the smaller ship where you could learn or know most of the people on board.
Yeah.
So that's when they got it to the LST USS Cayuga, which was also stationed out of Long Beach. Okay, so then the USS Cayuga sent on a Westpac cruise, which is South Pacific and over in Southeast Asia. So we were in the waters around the Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, all over in that area.
So did you prefer a certain spot, or did you just kind of go with everything?
Well, it was very interesting to visit the various ports that we did, and the way the people interacted and the cultural difference was the big thing, because, well, back in the day, they didn't even have concrete or asphalt streets in the Philippines, so it was all more dirt and mud if it was raining or anything. But and American standards are far different than what other countries had. I mean, you could go down and the curb's this high in one spot, this high in another. No standards.
Oh my gosh.
So that's one thing that stood out to me is, wow, how come it's like that? Well, they didn't have the standards that we had in the United States.
Yeah.
And in doing that, that gave me a better perspective of how good we have it in the United States, being a citizen.
Yeah.
And how our government take care of us versus the way they have their programs, etc.
Yeah. What were your living conditions like over there, and how did you get your stuff cleaned and just kind of?
Which one now? You want on board ship, or do you want the Vietnam one?
Let's start with on board ship.
On board ship was pretty much so you'd have your 4 hours on watch, and then you'd be off watch, and that went throughout the whole night, because obviously you're out at sea. We're a main part of the propulsion unit and the electrical system on the ship. So somebody's got to be watching it at all times. So you'd be on a watch for 4 hours, you come off. If it was during the day, you still had other things to do during the day. And it went into the night. You might have to get up at midnight and go on a midnight watch or other watch. So that was a little bit different. And you had our laundry. They did our laundry, etc. So on board ship, it was okay. Just I think during the day when you were out on a sunny day out at sea, it was nothing better than being able to look over the side and sometimes see flying fish or dolphins. At night, the crystallization of the water when it's cutting through, it was fluorescent type.
Pretty to look at.
Yes.
Yeah. What about in Vietnam?
Vietnam, when we did our laundry or needed our laundry done, we'd walk to the village nearby, and like I say, I'd leave the base and 4 or 5 kids hanging on each arm, and drop the laundry off and pick it up a day or so later and bring it back. Had Vietnamese women on board on the base that were cleaning everything, showers, etc. And your like apartment type living, more or less.
Yeah.
But that was different. And like I said, I had shown the movies at night on the base because a little bit of entertainment, you know. So
What was the culture like there? Like maybe like was there a difference in culture like with the ship and then living there, and like which one was your preference? Like
well, I would say that the going through Saigon was a culture shock, number one, because you've seen people on a motorcycle or like a mini motorcycle with 4 or 5 people on it
oh wow.
going down the street, and food carts and women with the baskets on their head carrying stuff.
Oh,
Look like you're overloaded with everything, but it was a far cry from what you see in the United States for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. So what was your favorite part about being an electrician's mate, and what did your typical day look like?
Typically, during the day, and you would be working on various different like hoists on board ship. We had controllers to do it, and we'd have to go in and clean the contacts, things like that. Go down, we'd shut down a generator. You'd go in and check the brushes, take readings and everything else, make sure that everything is good. Motors, if a bearing went on the motor, you'd have to pull the motor and take it to the shop and put new bearings in, put it back together, and get it back down on in between the engines or wherever it came from.
Yeah.
But and fixing just electrical systems, stuff in the kitchen. I used to like to work on the stuff in the galley on the ship because that way we could sample some of the food in the refrigerators or refrigeration units. So that was the fun part there.
Okay, what is something that you had to fix quite frequently compared to others?
I would say it was more planned maintenance is what we did a lot of. It was a schedule that was planned out that you clean these contacts on this hoist every 2 weeks, every whatever, you know. And the same thing with checking on motors and when you were on watch, or sometimes you'd go walk and take soundings, which by soundings I mean they'd have like a pipe going down. You'd have to drop like a plumb bob that would go down there and see if anything was leaking or anything.
Oh, wow. That sounds kind of like a car, but like not like a way more
kind of like a
complicated
dipstick, right?
Yeah. Okay. Why? So you already mentioned that you preferred like smaller ships compared to the
Yes.
bigger ones. Was there like technical things that you prefer? Like you like the smaller because of like the people. Were there like technical differences that you also?
It was more people differences because on the bigger ship there was a little bit more structure as to what you could do. Being on the minesweeper, if we were out at night and came back and we were hungry, we could go into the galley and take something out of the refrigerator, throw it on the grill, because there were fewer. You had 32 guys.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it worked a little bit better, but you had to make sure that they used to tie them up like 6 together.
Oh.
So you'd walk across one to get to the next one, to get to the next one, to get to the next one. And just a good example, one of the guys on our ship went to the wrong compartment and went to bed in somebody else's bed on another ship. Thought he was in his.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's nothing to tell you. I mean, they're all the same except for the numbers on the front. You're not looking at the numbers.
No. Did you guys literally have like the same like things on ship too? So like I feel like you wouldn't be able to tell, or like did you have personal items that'd be able to?
Well, you only had so much room. Your locker only was so much,
so
and most of it was uniforms, and you had some room. We didn't have the civilian clothes as much as they do today, and the space to store them.
Yeah.
So it was limited from that respect. As far as entertainment, again, I said I was trained to show 16 millimeter movies, so I would show movies on the mess decks at night. We'd trade movies, and whenever you went to port or something, they'd trade some more and bring them on board. You just show the movie and 2 projectors like in a theater type thing.
Oh.
So
Which
it was
one was
kind of
your
fun.
favorite movie out of all of them?
Who knows? I don't even
You
remember
don't even
some of the
remember.
movies. All I remember is I was showing one and my knee hit the take-up reel. It was changing to the other projector, and I looked and I had a pile of film on the floor.
Oh.
So, the fun.
What do you mean by pile of, like, for a pile of film? Like, does it like go in? And
Well,
then,
you've experienced, I don't know, maybe you haven't.
like...
Because I'm talking about spools of
Do you ever
film.
see them?
Did you ever see a film camera with the spools?
Yes.
Okay, that's the pile of
Oh.
film that was on the floor and not on the reel where it belonged.
Okay. Did they do this type of stuff on the larger ships or just like the smaller ships?
Well, it was on all the ships pretty much. So would get films that could be shown, and
Yeah.
It was those guys that showed it, just like qualified to do it. And
Yeah.
At night, maybe 2-3 hours, and then that would be that.
And that would be that. So on the larger ships, did you guys have more storage or like less storage, or was it kind of just like the same?
It depended. Like on the LST, if we were overseas and we knew we were coming back, because I know the captain had a sailboat down in the tank deck on the LST, bringing it back for some admiral or something. But they'd let us, if you wanted to buy a motorcycle, say we're in Japan or something, they take the boxes, deliver them to the ship, and we put them in the tank deck.
Oh my gosh.
Come back, sure. Make it like home.
Yeah, that's great. I always think of like the military as like, I know it's like very structured, but I never like see it from the sense of, oh, you kind of get to do other. Like,
well, it really depends on the type of ship you're on, and actually the captain of the ship, how strict he is or what's going on there. One example being Guatemala had a heck of a earthquake, and with the LST, we took fire trucks and things that were donated by Los Angeles and medical supplies to Guatemala and dropped them off. And I believe it was Somoza was the dictator there at the time. And they took all the fire trucks off and everything. A lot of our guys went into town and everything. They had mahogany rocking chairs. And these guys were buying mahogany rocking chairs, bringing them back to the ship and that. And actually, Somoza came on board and kicked us out after he got all the supplies.
Oh,
He said, you guys can leave now.
You can leave
We
now.
don't need you anymore.
Oh my gosh. All right. So what were the fake like Vietnamese villages for?
Before I went over, I was on Coronado, what they call the Strand, right by San Diego. And it's where the Navy SEALs train, etc. And the base there, they had a mini village set up so you could at least experience that you weren't going to see, like structures like we have around here, housing and things, and they make them up with Coke cans, like flatten them out and tie them together on the ends and that. They had thin walls and grass roofs, etc. So just to give you an idea of where you were going and what you would see.
So like a little bit of like a perspective change.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And the one thing there was before we left to go to Vietnam, a commander came in. We're all in a movie theater, and he's given us an address and tells us, okay, 1 out of every 10 of you is not coming back. Do you want to draw straws now?
Wow.
So what? No, we'll wait.
No, wait. How did that like make you feel like getting like drafted out? Like what emotions did that bring up, or like were you kind of just like set and ready to go?
I was ready to go. You're trained and you can only react to what happens. And sometimes it's not good, but sometimes,
Hmm.
looks out and happens to somebody else. But
That's very
life.
true. Yeah. What do you consider to be your most important contribution to the service?
Just more or less doing my job every day, doing it well, as far as, we would get reviews and that on our performance, etc., and the knowledge that you gained as you were growing in the position and as you were promoted, to electrician, EM3, EM2, etc., and more responsibility as you go. So,
Yeah. All right. So, how did you get home, and was it just like by ship like everyone else, or what was the
no, I
process?
flew back and actually came to Mitchell Field, and I had white sun because I was coming back, and it was winter yet. And went to a restaurant, and my brother had picked me up, and we were right near Greenfield High School. A bunch of girls were sitting, oh, he's got the wrong uniform on, he's this. Just like, I turned around and said, well, I guess where I came from, this is the uniform of the day.
This is the
And
uniform of the day.
I was dark enough that I think they could tell I was coming back from somewhere overseas.
So, how were you affected by the civilian treatment of veterans when you returned?
Well, it wasn't a real good feeling at the time. Uh, there wasn't much we could do about it other than, like I said, I didn't really join the Veterans of Foreign Wars until in the 90s because, to an extent, just like Korean War too, it was like, you guys really weren't in a war,
Yeah.
And it was because World War II and everything went on as long as it did, and the guys that served, it was a different kind of war,
Yeah.
Just like the wars out east that we've had, a shorter duration than like Vietnam went. So, and the attitudes were a lot different, considering.
Yeah. Were you not as appreciated as you World War II vets?
Well, I would say no. We had a lot of discontent from people that didn't appreciate your service, and you're a baby killer, and so that was things that happened. I mean, we were Washington, D.C., and an Oriental woman come up yelling, you baby killers, you baby killers. And I was in the VFW at the time.
How did that make you feel?
Well, it don't make you feel real good, but what more are you going to say? Hey, it's more her attitude than ours.
That's true. Yeah.
When they threw insults at us and everything else, it was like, you have your right to, demonstrate. We have the right to tell you what we feel too.
That's fair. All right. So, what were your main takeaways from the Vietnam War?
We were helping the people. That was my observation, so to speak. The people, the South Vietnamese themselves, they liked us.
Yeah.
And were very good with us, trying to help them. And they respected us. And we more or less good friendships with some of them. And, they learned English pretty well. I don't think we learned Vietnamese very well. But of course, there were some words that most people learned.
Yeah. It's that for what counts.
Right.
Yeah. What do you wish was taught in schools about the Vietnam War that's not in textbooks?
That we weren't there to kill people. We were there to try and help the cause and keep communism out.
Yeah.
So my experience has been, as I worked at Brookfield East High School, went into a history class, and I was cleaning and took the book and opened it up, and 2 pages on Vietnam, and that was it.
That's so sad.
So it really did not give a clear explanation of why we were there, when we got there, because that went on since in the 50s when we were trying to help the French.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the history is missed.
Yeah.
And I think that didn't give a good example of the Vietnam veteran either,
Yeah, that's not very.
because it wasn't explained properly, I don't believe.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna close up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so I wrapped up all my questions. So in closing, this has been an interview of Tom Lemmer regarding his service during the Vietnam War. My name is Brooke Sakalowski. The time is 4:47. Thank you for agreeing to this interview, and most importantly, thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Yes, of course.